Okay, I think I have my mic on. I am sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but you must have been waiting, and I know you've been waiting. But I'll start off with this. Culture makes people understand each other better. And if they understand each other better in their soul, it's easier to overcome the economic and political barriers. But first, they have to understand that their neighbor is indeed just like them, with the same problems, the same questions. That's by Paulo Coelho. Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Dead Late Night Show. I am your host, Lana Epstein, and guess where we're at? I told you we are live here at the Consulate General's office here in Miami, Florida. I think most of you say what? Miami? I'm not sure, but we're going to keep it real. We're going to say Miami, okay? And that does not mean the entire South Florida. We are South, yes, but we're not in Fort Lauderdale, for those of you that might not know. But today is Thursday, March 30th, 2017, and our show mission is to educate, providing you with the information you need, motivate you to change when needed, and entertain you by uplifting your spirits. We want to speak the unspoken words of thousands. And we're streaming live, as you know, via Facebook, and we want to hear from you. So make sure message us, inbox us, tell us what you're thinking. And guess what? We are so excited and honored to have been permitted at the Bahamas Consulate General's office. And we have a very, very special guest with us. And that's Consulate General to the Bahamas, to Miami, which is Mr. H. Ricardo Treco. And we are so honored, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
So if you have questions, I will be, I'm all labeled up. I'm all ready to go. I am all ready for you. So make sure send in those questions, and so that we can know exactly, what it is you're thinking or the information and what you're trying to find out. So let's start off first by talking about where we're at. The post of Bahamian Consulate is as old as our nation. I mean, it opened up in 1973, and yet, despite its long history, the public remains largely in the dark about the job itself. Like most people, you ask the average man on the street, what is the duty of a counselor or consulate office? Or do you know how many consulate offices the Bahamas have worldwide? And most people are like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So how do people actually get the role of counselor, and how is this process done?
Well, good morning, audience. A consul general and or ambassadors are generally appointed by the government, most definitely by the Prime Minister of the country, to facilitate the government's policies and objectives in the territory that they're assigned to. That's a basic thing. Now, how does one get appointed? Well, it's just an honor to be appointed. I guess the Prime Minister felt confident enough to appoint myself as well as the other individuals who are holding ambassador posts and consul general posts throughout the world. So I guess it's just a matter of choice. A matter of choice.
Yeah. Now, as you know, for those persons that do know about the position and what have you, some people say, well, if you do X, Y, Z, they're going to promise you a post. And I've been reading up on it, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, a lot of people that hold positions, it's based on experience, it's based on business background. I mean, it's a plethora of things that they're chosen by, or reasons why they're chosen. So can you kind of go more in depth with that for me?
Well, I can't really say exactly why the Prime Minister chose me, but I'm a very, very nationalistic Bahamian. First of all, I have been promoting the Bahamas since I first came over here to Florida at the age of 11 for high school for several years. I've always been a very proud Bahamian, and I think my involvement with the civic life of the Bahamas, the cultural life. For instance, in Junkanoo, I'm a 35-year member of the Valley Boys.
Oh boy, don't start nothing here.
I have also been fortunate enough to hold various positions within the sporting community, the Bahamas Basketball Association, the Bahamas Softball Association. I've been fortunate to coach a very successful high school softball girls program at Kingsway Academy. I've been involved with my church and my community since I've known myself, and I'm an avid businessman. My whole life has been involved with working for and trying to expand my family's businesses. My professional training has been in HVAC, which is air conditioning, refrigeration, and engineering, and I've also dabbled in a lot of management and administrative roles as well. So I think that because of my experience, I think that's possibly one of the reasons why I was chosen. I count it a very honor, and I'm very humbled to be in this position, but I also count it a privilege to be able to serve the Bahamian people and to represent my country. I'm extremely proud of that. I think we're a fantastic country. I think we have immense potential. I think that we have just begun to really tap into the vast variety of talent and resources that our country has, and I hope that in my position I will be a catalyst to possibly cause some change or some focus to be directed toward furthering the mandate of the government and providing good support and representation for government, both for the Bahamians who are here and for those who I come in contact with. We want to come to the Bahamas as either investors or tourists. So it's an honor to be in this position.
Okay, and I mean, that's really, it's great hearing you say that. I mean, you know, people would be thinking that, but to hear someone so passionately explain or, you know, tell their story and why it is they're so passionate about the country and the growth and the development and all the fabulous things that you've been involved with, that is awesome, absolutely awesome. And I don't know if I'm sure you've been probably following the temperature at home, because you know a lot of things are going on at home.
Yes.
And we hear more about the negative, preferably than the positive, and sometimes it becomes frustrating, you know, and you know, I want people to understand at home that we have a lot of things to look forward to. And our country has a lot of things to offer, great things.
Yes, we do.
And I don't think it's actually resonating with them. And so to hear someone that's on the other side, I mean, Mr. Treco is here with his team, and he's fighting for us. He's fighting to get people to come to the Bahamas and invest, to visit. You know, the way that he's passionately talking about our culture, Junkanoo, that's our culture, you know. It is absolutely awesome. But you also mentioned something about sports.
Yeah, we're if you look at us by per capita, we're the most successful sporting country in the world by far. We continue to excel in all major sports. I remember as a young man, a teenager, at that point in my life, the Bahamas was world ranked in the top 3 in both women's and men's softball. We were pretty highly ranked in baseball, and I see those two sports now coming back to the forefront, which is very good. I see we've already improved our performance in soccer. We're making some strides there. We are making strides in basketball. We're basically on top of the world, as far as I'm concerned, in track and field. I'm very proud when I see our national colors coming across the finish line. I'm very proud when I see the young ladies who come over here to perform in gymnastics, and the young men and young women who come and perform in different martial arts events over here. And I try my best to be present at all of the functions that I know Bahamians will be participating in this area, as I am aware.
Okay.
If I'm not aware, then of course I can't participate. And I find that a lot of persons, just like how you say, they're not aware of what the role of a consulate is and what it encompasses. So basically, I'll just give you a little tidbit on what a consulate's role is. The role of the consulate is basically to build strong relationships between the Bahamas and the host country, which is, of course, now the United States. In my role in the Consulate General of Miami, or Florida, Florida is just one of the 8 states which is a part of my jurisdiction. There's Florida, there's Louisiana, Mississippi, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, and Utah. Now people are wondering, wow, that's weird, because it's, you know, but that's it's been a good experience for me, because I've had opportunities to visit Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas officially, to represent the country, to meet the different governors, and to try to facilitate business opportunities, educational opportunities, sports activities. The government is very focused on increasing our tourism products, so we've been very involved with trying to encourage a lot more medical tourism and sports tourism. So my office has been very busy in trying to facilitate both from the Bahamas and from the U.S. in terms of collaboration and cooperation with various activities or functions or events. We continue to look for opportunities for our Bahamian students for scholarships. So we always on the outlook for schools and institutions who wish to partner with us with scholarship offerings, i.e., for instance, if the Bahamas provides $10,000, will you match that so that we can have a student? So we have those situations happening all the time. In my office, we have specific persons who are tasked with keeping in contact with various sectors of the diaspora. The diaspora is the persons who reside in the geographical areas that we're encompassed, and not only in Florida. So we have several members of my staff who are constantly monitoring various schools, the Bahamian associations in the schools, to ensure that we are disseminating proper information for all the students in terms of our activities here, any activities that any Bahamian entity is performing in or a part of here or in any of our jurisdictions. We also have contacts with all the different Bahamian associations within our jurisdiction to make sure we try to compile a proper database so that whenever any activities or functions or emergencies occur, we can immediately send out accurate and timely information regarding those issues. We also are very engaged. As you know, we had 2 hurricanes in the last 2 years, and the consulate has been very instrumental in coordinating and assisting various agencies in ensuring that the needed products and equipment and services that were offered as assistance to the Bahamas during that time. So we help coordinate all those activities with customs, with immigration, to ensure that these things happened in a timely and a seamless fashion. So it's like running a small corporation.
Right.
I must say that the staff here, I've been extremely blessed to have a total complement of staff who understands the mandate of the government and who has assisted me in facilitating my role to ensure that we provide the best service and opportunities for our Bahamians, both here and in the Bahamas.
Which is wonderful, because, you know, in any company, in any business, in any sector, you know, the leader can have the best idea. They can have all the plans out, everything is working, but if you don't have the team to back you up,
Yes.
you know, and I think I've only heard very positive things about this office. So
I'm happy to hear that.
I think every time I've used the services of this office in the past as well, and every time I've used it, I've never had a problem, and I'm just speaking from my personal experience. And I think for the first time in a long time, that has been an experience that was like, oh, what? Well, that was that easy? Like, okay. So therefore, that means that you have the support and everybody is thinking the same way. I think sometimes as a culture, we tend to take things a little bit too personal and out of context.
Yes.
And we have to understand that this is a job to do, whereas we're representing. You remember, guys, I talk about representing. So these individuals that are working here in the Miami office, they're representing us. They're the first people that others come in contact with from all over the world. So it's commendable that you guys are doing such a good job here in this office.
Thank you for that nice vote of confidence, Ms. Epstein. And I'd like to say that we have a host of services that we offer here. We provide assistance to Bahamians in case of any type of problem with their passports. If they lose a passport, they can come to our office and we can reissue an emergency passport to get back to Nassau. We issue Bahamian passports. We issue visas to all persons who want to visit the country. We assist with if there's problems with some Bahamians who have legal problems. We assist with the actual transit of those persons from the U.S. back to the Bahamas in a humane and a proper way. We also authenticate all legal documents that are required in or out of the Bahamas. We do notarization of all documents. We advise prospective investors about trade and investment opportunities in the Bahamas and provide information related to that. We are presently located, and we've been here since 1973 at the Ingram Building, which is on 2nd Avenue. We are happy to say that we will be moving to our new office premises within the next 30 days.
Aww.
And so we're going to be saying goodbye to an old friend, but we're saying hello to a new friend, and I'm sure that the public will be very much pleased with our new offices. And this has been something that's been in the planning stages for over 18 months, so it's been well thought out. I want to personally thank the Ministry of Works and the Minister of Works. I want to also thank various ministries who have assisted with getting the relevant information signed and sealed and delivered so that we can make this move. The Attorney General's office, the Prime Minister's office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. There's another ministry, Minister Shane Gibson's ministry, who was very instrumental in helping us to move things along. So we're excited about that move, and I think it's going to enhance our services. It's going to bring us to a level of excellence that I think is second to none. If you go to any other foreign mission or consulate or embassy, we will be as good or better than in terms of facilities, administration, and the like. So I'm very proud to be a part of this, and we look forward to that event.
So is it going to be revealed where it's going to be yet, or we have to sit and wait for the next 30 days?
Well, yeah, we're not moving too far. We're going to still be in the downtown area, but we will make sure send you a special invitation.
Yes, have to.
And we will make sure you could probably come and do a follow-up at that time.
I'd love to
show the office and stuff like that.
But
we're very proud of our position here in Florida. We're one of the oldest consulates that has been established here. And there are over 100 different consulates from different nations here. So I'm constantly meeting with my counterparts as we discuss ways and means to further mutual beneficial products or processes, just to bring about a little bit more cooperation,
building better relationships
with our worldly friends. So it's been a joy to do that. I've met some very interesting people from all over the world, and we've already established several sister city relationships with different cities here in Florida and islands in Nassau. That's a part of our mandate. We continue to do that. We are very, very interested in keeping Bahamas at the forefront of the minds of persons in our jurisdiction as the premier destination for vacation. Fantastic. As well as direct foreign investment into the Bahamas. We're a very easy country to do business with. We have the most incredible people in the world. I think our hospitality is second to none. And with the new opening of Bahamas, that's just going to expand our horizons and our opportunities to continue to keep in front of all of our competitors. And we just want to encourage the Bahamians to always look to do the right thing. When you spoke about, there's always this situation with news being bad, and I'm not a person who is against the news media, but I always have a problem when there's always bad news commanding the front pages. Yeah. And there's so much other stories that can be told about the good that is being done, the positive. And those are also newsworthy items. It doesn't always have to be bad news making the headlines. I think there's been many opportune times in our history where bad news has overshadowed some really good things.
Right.
And people talk about the problems in our country. Well, let me give you a little briefing. All countries have problems. I live in Florida, in Miami, and trust me, it's very similar. Yeah. We all deal with issues. I myself am a born-again Christian, and I have certain beliefs and systems in my life that I think will help me to articulate this job in a more positive way. Okay. I also feel that we as a nation need to really seriously look at ourselves in the mirror and stop complaining and start doing. We need to become neighbors again. In the Bahamas, we've lost that. We've lost that, and I'm very saddened about that. And that's a situation that I think is worldwide right now. Everybody's looking out for me, and no one has the consciousness of loving your neighbor and loving God. And I think with those two prerequisites in any singular person's life, and definitely in the national life, if we look to God first in a serious way, not just for convenience, right, but in a serious way, and if we, have God as our center, and our lives will then be in a position where we can be grateful and loving and kind and considerate. Right. And those are the attributes that I hope to continue to push forward in my role here as Consul General. I hold all my persons in this office responsible for all of their duties, and like I said, I've been very pleased with the performance of the persons in this office, and in dealing with the other consulates and the embassies, the persons in these offices work very hard and diligently hard to ensure that we provide the best services and excellent attitudes toward everyone who comes in contact with us. Right. Sometimes you may fall down, but it is always our intent, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, to be the best that we can be at all times. And that's absolutely, fantastic. And we have to also remember that these persons are leaving their homes. They're not the persons that are here in America, they're not Americans. They're coming from home and setting up
shop in a new place, a new city. Yes, I know we all travel to Florida, but living in a place and visiting a place are two different things. And to be away from home and family, you get homesick, you know? And so there's a lot of things that are going on, and we should always try to support, you know. Mr. Treco talked a lot about events that are happening, whereas Bahamians are involved. Contact the local consulate office and let them know what's going on. Don't say at the end of the, you know, the event, or if something good happened, don't say, well, nobody's checking. No one can check if they don't know. So, you know, I think if we focus more on positive things, as Mr. Treco said, and not the negative. We have so much to be grateful for. We're the wealthiest country, you know, Caribbean country in the world.
Yes.
We have a lot of resources, and I want to get a little bit into those resources, because you mentioned something about the Sister City Agreement, and I want to go a little bit more into that, because I think a lot of people are not aware of it and how it works, and you know, an example of it and the benefit for us, or how it benefits us. So tell me a little bit more about the sisterhood agreement with various cities throughout the U.S.
Well, I'm not an expert on it, but I can tell you basically the process is, the intent is really to partner with compatible place in the United States, a city. Most of the time it's a city to city. Well, of course, you wouldn't call Marshall a city. No. We call them a settlement or whatever. But just to give you some idea of the benefits, education, the opportunity for scholarships. So whereas you have a city directly in contact with a settlement or a town in the Bahamas, where they can actually dialogue and see what the U.S. side has to offer, see what the Bahamian side has to offer, see how those offerings could be meshed to basically form a mutually beneficial operation, whether that be education, agriculture, fishing,
wow,
business,
wow,
student exchange,
right,
agricultural. You know, Florida is a primary. Florida, if you all don't know, is the second largest producer of fruit and vegetables in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And this one will shock you. Florida is actually number one in beef.
What?
That's right.
Oh, I didn't know.
So where BAMSI has been coming and again, the University of the Bahamas, and the University of the Bahamas and the Ministry of Education and the Bahamas government for putting BAMSI out there, because now BAMSI is now has some partnerships with the University of Florida, University of Miami, when it comes to aquaculture, agriculture, horticulture. So a lot of synergies have been developed because of not necessarily sister city relations, but that's what happens when you have these relationships, because as you visit, you know, because the people, I'll give you one instance. We completed under my tenure, we completed the sister city agreement with Hopetown and the city of Stuart, and that has provided a lot of opportunity. The councilors from Hopetown came over and met with the mayor and the city council of Hopetown, I mean of Stuart, and had dialogues and meetings. And then several months later, the delegation from the city of Stuart, the mayor, the city council, they came down to Hopetown, and thus they have now started some relationships that are reaping benefits, and that's really a part of it, to facilitate opportunities for assistance, for growth, for cooperation. I know an instance where the sister city relationship between Key West and Harbor Island, the city of Key West was able to send down some very, very expensive equipment to assist the persons in Hopetown. I think some street sweepers and I think some fire engines or something like that. And it's always that relationship where when the cities over here have over budgeted items, or they have items that they're always in contact with us as to, well, can you use this in any of your jurisdictions? So there's a lot of cooperation We've established a very good relationship with the city of Miami, the city of Fort Lauderdale, Dade County, Broward County, St. Lucie County,
Wow.
Martin County. So we're talking all the way from Key West all the way up to basically Daytona. We've
Wow.
really, I think I've met
That's
just
phenomenal.
about every mayor from those jurisdictions. And it's been a rewarding experience because you dialogue and you find out things that will spark interest from various jurisdictions in the Bahamas, and then you make those connections, and that's one of
Wow.
the benefits of the sister city relationship.
That's absolutely fantastic. So I'll ask you this question. So let's say someone in Andros that's in farming, or someone that's in Exuma that's in fishing or something. Let's say they have an interesting idea, and they've probably been doing some research, and they see, I don't know, somewhere in Tucson, wherever, they have a particular program that can benefit. Then what do? They just make contact with the Consul General's office, and then you guys just liaison between the two parties?
Yes, we can do that. But what I would say the easiest thing to do with the locals is to first go to their council.
Okay.
You know, because now each island has its own council.
Well, you
which
know
is
how that
basically a
works, Mr.
small
Treco.
government. Yeah, but that's the first. That's the first step.
Okay.
Generally, the counselors will generally get in touch with the various concepts and state what their ideas are, and then the consuls then will provide direction and assistance in finding a compatible partner in the U.S. to facilitate those ideas.
What I love about that is the fact that you're allowing and holding the local area council or administrator to take the initiative to actually perform on the duties or on behalf of the persons in which they are responsible for.
That's correct.
Because every island administrator, every council that's in each family island, you play the role just the same way how Mr. Treco is playing the role of Counselor General. So, and that's awesome that, you don't, so persons with ideas out there, you're in Luther and Exuma, I always hear you guys talk about, well, there's no, we don't have any opportunities. There are opportunities. There are opportunities because we're talking about it today. We're talking about building relationships with cities throughout America, throughout the U.S., that can benefit you through sports, through agriculture, through business venture ideas. And it's here. We just have to take advantage of it. And I think we're focusing, I'm going to say this again, let's stop focusing so much on all the things that do not matter, the he say and she say and they say and I think this and all that stuff, and let's get down to black and white, the numbers, the writing on the wall, the opportunity is here. So it starts with the sister city agreement, which is fantastic. Thank you for that. And then you talk about building that relationship or having this relationship with Miami. Now, we all know that the city of Miami has a lot of cultures.
Yes.
You have a very heavy Hispanic community,
yes,
and a very heavy Caribbean
yes,
community. And two of the largest Caribbean communities, I think, would be considered the Haitian community and the Jamaican community.
that's correct.
Right?
Those are the two largest.
And so with the fact that we have a large community of Haitians and Jamaicans also living in the Bahamas, how have you been able to build a positive relationship between those parties here in Miami?
Well, I have established a very good relationship with the Consul General of Jamaica, mainly because we in the same building and we're actually on the same floor. There hasn't been a Consul General from Haiti, but I've been fortunate to speak with the regional consul, I think, in Atlanta, a very nice gentleman. So we've spoken about various things we can do as CARICOM to facilitate better relationships between CARICOM and the U.S. So we also have some meetings basically with just the CARICOM consul generals, just to talk about local stuff that affects us and how we can come together and form a block that is large enough to cause some discussions to happen. When we're all small nations, sometimes the bigger nations don't pay attention, but when you form a block, then you become a little bit more powerful. So we always look to facilitate great relationships with all of our Caribbean counterparts. I've always been adamant about being our brother's keeper. I've been fortunate with my church to go on many mission trips. The majority of my mission trips, short-term mission trips, which generally be from 7 to 10 days. And I've done that for 16 years.
Wow.
But we've mostly been to Haiti, doing work in Haiti. So I have a real fondness for all persons, and we have to be our brother's keeper. We have to ensure that we are good neighbors, that we facilitate good relations. We're all the same. If you cut me and if I cut you, we can bleed the same. So what's the big deal?
Exactly.
So I never had any issues with that. Another thing I want to mention to you that we are presently actually engaged in is the process of voting.
Yes.
So I know that is a hot subject right now, so let me just get into that.
Okay, he's going before I even get there, folks, because I would definitely go there. So go on.
Well, we've all consulates have the privilege and the opportunity to facilitate voting for all students and for all persons who are employed by Bahamas government agencies. Those are the persons who are qualified to vote here in the United States. Those are the only persons who are qualified. That is the student population and persons who are employed by the government of the Bahamas and their spouses or dependents. Any persons in any of our jurisdictions may register, and we've been registering for several months now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. In fact, we're continuing our registration. We have a big registration drive in Tampa this weekend with a bunch of students. We've already done one up in Orlando. We've already done most of the Bahamian government's offices here, tourist office, Bahamas here, stuff like that. And so we're actually a designated polling station for voting.
Wow.
Now, the places that will have this opportunity are the consulates.
Right.
And the jurisdictions that they can actually go out and physically reach. So Atlanta is engaged. Washington, D.C. is engaged. In Atlanta, you have Consul General Randy Roll. In Washington, D.C., you have Consul General Paulette Sonico. And in New York City, you have Consul General Forrester Carroll. And then, of course, here in Miami, myself. And we've been engaged in this for several months now. And we are like right in the throes of it right now. So, any students out there, or if you have students, anyone who's listening who are in any of those jurisdictions, they can contact the consulates and come right in and register. Each of the consulates have a specific day, I think.
So I have a question for you. So I know that the Miami Consulate office is responsible for the area of New Orleans. But
yes.
Can someone from New Orleans go to Atlanta? Just thinking about,
yes.
Can they go to
yes.
from New Orleans to Atlanta to register? Okay. All right. So it doesn't mean that because you're
whatever is the closest.
Yeah, whatever the closest, you can go geographically for you. If you are a Bahamian student, you have to be a Bahamian college-bound student in order to be eligible to register to vote. And, that bell is going to ring soon. So if you haven't done so, please go and do so. Or you have to be employed by the Bahamas government, and your dependent will also be eligible for voting.
That's correct.
And but I know we got to take a little bit further than that, because there are some documents that are going to be required
Yes.
that you would have to submit in order to be able to register the vote. So what are those documents, Mr. Treco?
Well, the passport, of course, which they will have, that's the first, that's the only requirement, is that there's proof of that they're a student.
So the visa.
Yeah, and the passport.
Okay.
That's the only thing you need to register.
And where can they find out, you know, can they go online to find out more of this, or do they just contact the local office?
They could just contact the local office and find out what dates they're registering.
Okay.
I think right now, as people come in, we're registering.
Okay, so
continuously. Yesterday we registered about, I think, 6 or 7 individuals.
Okay.
My assistant is out registering today. They're heading up to Tampa on Saturday.
Okay.
And so we're very much involved in the registration process at this time.
Okay, so you heard it here on the Dad Late Night Show. You can register to vote. If you're living in the United States, you can go to any of the Consulate General's office. You take your passport. If you're a student, you have to show your passport and your student visa. You're only eligible if you're a Bahamian student attending university or college here, or if you're employed by the Bahamas government and you're working in that capacity, as well as your dependents, and you just bring your passport and your visa.
And of course, you got to be 18.
And of course, you have to be 18. So, I mean, come on, people. You know you have to be 18, okay? And don't go in the office. Just be patient. If you're not sure, call first. Rather than, don't just drive. Don't jump in your car and drive down there and say, well, they told me. Call first to find out if there's a particular day. Here in Miami, you walk in, they will accommodate you, no problem at all. Well, Mr. Treco, I know that you are a very busy man, and we are so honored to, we are very, very honored that you have invited us, in the office today to be a part, and to hear about all the great things. And there's so much more. I haven't even gotten through a lot of things, but we will be back because we have an open invitation.
Yes,
Sounds like it. But is there anything else you'd like to say to the general public in regards to?
I'd just like to say that as Bahamians, we are always in the forefront of the worldview. And it is incumbent upon us to ensure that we continue to attract persons to come to the Bahamas, and it's really based on how we conduct ourselves individually as well as nationally in the eyes of the world, where we are seen in an instant. It's always good for us to put our best foot forward in a real way, not in a fake way, in a real way, so that the genuineness of our hospitality could be evident. And that's basically what I have to say. Fantastic. Well, folks, we're at the end of our show, and I want to thank the Consulate General to Miami, Mr. Ricardo Treco here, and his staff. Nikki was so awesome. So thank you, Nikki. Shout out to Nikki in the Consulate's office, whoop, whoop, and all the fabulous workers here for providing or allowing the Dead Late Night Show to be here. I also want to thank you, my viewing and the listening audience, and those of you that I know you're working right now, you're not supposed to be on the computers and stuff, but the show, you were able to watch it anytime. So thank you, because without you, there would be no Dead Late Night Show. So thank you for your support, and don't forget to register to vote. Please, people, we're coming, we're close. We're close. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. Learn about the issue. And that's by Tony Snow. So learn about your issues, your policies. What is it that, that makes you happy or don't make you happy? It's not about who's your friend. It's not about what the man say or the girl say or he say or she say. It's about the facts, policies, systems that are going to better you, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. We have over 30% of the Bahamian population that's under 18. They are our future. We have to be the examples. So remember that. So,
for another edition of the Dead Late Night Show. We're going to be back home next week, people. I didn't leave you forever, but I have a special show on Saturday. It's going to be a little bit more fun, so I want you to tune in on Saturday. I will post the date and the time. Make sure email us at deadlatenight@gmail.com with all of your views and your questions and your ideas. And have a great Thursday. Good day and Godspeed.